So in the world of Tantra, the sexual energy is referred to as a life force energy. Without it, we'd be dead. Yeah? So it's this powerful energy that arises from the genitals and can be cultivated and then moved through the body. And most people's experiences of sexuality or sexual energy is very much a kind of genital-based experience. It's like a build-up of energy and then a release of energy through orgasm or ejaculation. Whereas we can actually increase our capacity to contain energy. We can contain a huge amount of this energy if we choose to train ourselves to do that. So start by getting curious. Start by getting really honest. And start by asking the right questions. So, what happens for me in sexuality? Am I present? Does shame arise for me? Can I ask for what I want? Do I know what it is that I want? Am I able to orgasm? Am I able to have more than one orgasm? Am I racing towards orgasm? Is it kind of like a rush to the finish? Am I able to drop into intimacy with my partners? Or am I engaging and relating just from a kind of genital-based connection? Is my heart involved in what I'm doing? So these are the beginning of the questions. If you find that in sexuality you're in fantasy, you're checking out, you're thinking about previous partners, this would kind of suggest that there's something there that's not working for you. So what I see getting in the way for most people, there are three kind of main blocks, and that's fear, guilt, and shame. And they can manifest in different ways at different times for different individuals. So shame may manifest in feelings of not being worthy, feelings of not being good enough, feelings of not being worthy of this pleasure, feelings that you may be wrong or dirty for engaging and enjoying this. We just look at the Catholic religion and the messages which have been received from there. Then there may be this guilt, it's like you should be doing something else rather than pleasure. The original sin is that we were pleasure beings and we reached for something which was pleasurable, and we're going to feel guilty for that forevermore. And then the other one is fear. It's like, can we actually bring ourselves to be here in this moment of intimacy and to be seen by another human being? And what may arise for us in that being seen? All the things that we might not want someone else to see or know about us arise in these moments where sexual energy is present. Sexual energy is so strong that it just vibrates the foundations of our being. In my opinion, one of the biggest epidemics at the moment is disconnection. So we live in this world that's very mind-based. Everything's going on up here, in the head. We're kind of very much in a thinking-based culture. We're engaged with our phones, our computers. All of our energy is up in the mind. So for a lot of people, there is a disconnection from the body. There's a disconnection from feeling. There's a disconnection from sensation. So if somebody comes to me and says, I can't orgasm, I would be supporting that person to come into the body and to start feeling the smallest sensation that is there for them. And what I see in many people is there's something we call in my work a pleasure limit. So pleasure limits come in and they pull us away from the present experience. So it could be that you're in bed and you're making love and you're feeling really great and really yummy, and suddenly you start thinking about work, right? It just comes in, massively distracts you. You're not there, you're not present, you're not connected with the experience anymore. So awareness that happens and being really kind and gentle with yourself when it happens and bringing yourself back. Like, okay, I've gone into this place of distraction. I'm not feeling sexy anymore because I'm thinking about work. Bring myself back. Can I bring myself back to this moment? And there are three kind of main tools which we use in my work and within the field of Tantra, which is breath, sound, and movement. It's changing from the paradigm of believing that sexual energy needs to be released from the genitals through either an orgasm or an ejaculation experience. which is what most of us experience. So if we're self-pleasuring, we might self-pleasure to the point of having an orgasm or an orgasm ejaculation, then the energy is gone. Yeah, it's discharged out of the body. So in healing, what we want to do is not to discharge that energy in that way. There's nothing wrong with discharging the energy that way, but it's not going to support the healing journey necessarily. So if we then cultivate that energy, so we build up a kind of pool of energy in the pelvis, we can then direct that energy through the body. So when that energy is released, it can feel on a spectrum from a range of completely blissful to really uncomfortable. It just depends on what your body is meeting, what that energy is meeting within you. There may be tears. As we go from contraction to opening, sometimes it's uncomfortable. We can have that energy move up through the body and it can just take us into deep blissful states of being. We can have orgasmic experiences in any cell of our body. We just didn't know that that was possible. When we know that that is possible, we can move that energy can release, and it can feel wonderful, blissful, orgasmic, juicy, alive, intense, strong, anger, painful. It's releasing whatever is there being held in the body. I believe that everyone has the birthright to feel sexually fulfilled. Whether they've realised that or not is another story, but everybody has the right to feel sexually fulfilled, and everyone has the ability to feel sexually fulfilled. It's about whether people take the choice to engage with their sexuality in a different way than what they've currently been doing. Whether people want to broaden their horizons and to experience something more than what they are currently having in their sex lives. So what I see is missing for many people is a healthy education around sexuality. And if we look at female sexuality for a moment here, then most women don't know what anatomy they have. They don't know their sexual anatomy. It's all tucked away inside. For those in male bodies, everything hangs outside. It's quite easy to see, it's quite obvious to see what's happening there. It's quite obvious to see when a man is aroused. An erection will happen and an erection will go. In a female body, it's quite different. And for a lot of women I work with, there is a lack of kind of somatic awareness of the different arousal structures which comprise the female arousal network. There was a point in time where anatomy books had information about female arousal in them. When it was realised that women didn't need to orgasm to conceive, that information was taken out of those anatomy books, and it hasn't returned to any level of adequacy to inform women about the potential arousal states which they can move into. So it's a big passion of mine to support women to really get a clear somatic map of their anatomy. Like, this is where this part is, this is how it works, this is what it does. When I engage with this, I can have pleasant, beautiful, yummy feelings in this part of my body. For a lot of women, there are these kind of like blind spots. They don't know where their G-spot is. They don't know what it feels like. Their only relationship with their cervix is when they have a smear test or when they give birth. They don't know about the other erectile structures which exist in the outer lips of the vagina. When all of these areas are engaged with, the potential for arousal is huge. So most women are engaging with sex, with penetration, when they are not fully aroused, when they're not fully engorged, when they're not fully alive, when they're not ready to engage in sex. So they're really missing out on a huge potential of healing, of transformation, of pleasure. What's really important for me is for people to understand that pleasure is their birthright. It's not something that they have to earn. For many, it's something that they've lost. But there is hope. There is a way that they can find themselves back into pleasure. There is plenty of support out there. There's plenty of education, advice, wisdom. You know, we live in this day of the internet age where we can find out so much about whatever it is we want to find out about. So for anyone who's really struggling and thinks that, well, that's for somebody else and it's not for me, I'm not ever going to be able to feel that pleasure. I'm not ever going to be able to have that for myself. Just want to be able to give that word of encouragement and that it is possible. Might not be easy to get there, but it is possible to take that journey and to find yourself back in that place of pleasure.